Chris is in the middle of the planning process with his project team when a senior developer brings up that a special server will be required to complete the project work. What should Chris do next? A. Update the issue log. B. Submit a change request to ask for additional funding for the server. C. Update the resource requirements. D. Identify a workaround. Teresa is in the process of closing her project and wants to ensure that the exit criteria for the project have been met. What should she consult to verify this? A project charter. B. Business case. C. Change log. D. Deliverables. Conflict is a common occurrence in projects and teams, and how it is managed can impact the project's success. Which of the following statements about conflict is false? A conflict is always inevitable. B. Conflict is addressed with transparency and problem solving. C. Conflict can be a good thing. D. Conflict is indicative of a failure of leadership. Otto is new to your Scrum team and has never worked in a Scrum environment before. He is curious about how impediments are typically prioritized in Scrum. What are you most likely to tell him? Impediments are addressed in the order of duration, where impediments that take less time to address are addressed first. Every impediment is addressed in the subsequent release period after reviewing the impediments in the retrospective meeting. C. Impediments are analyzed by the Scrum team, and the most impactful impediments are addressed first. D. Impediments are addressed in the order that they come up. What is represented in the provided image? Stakeholder Engagement Assessment Matrix, Stakeholder Engagement Plan, Stakeholder Register, Stakeholder Analysis. Brittany is managing an IIT project that is progressing well. Her team meets weekly to review a board containing tickets that represent work items. The board has columns labeled Backlog, In Progress, Testing, and Done. When a developer is ready to start work, they pull a ticket from the Backlog column into the In Progress column. Once the work is completed, a QA analyst moves the ticket to the Testing column. After testing, the ticket is closed and moved to the Done column. What type of project management approach is Brittany's team using? A predictive B. Hybrid Kanban. D. Scrum. Raquel is managing procurement for her project, and her PMO has instructed her to only arrange contracts with vendors that pose a low risk to her firm. What type of contract should Raquel use? A cost reimbursable contract. B. Time and materials contract. C. Cost contract. D. Fixed price contract. Identifying when a risk might turn into an issue is an important aspect of risk management. Which of the following practices can help recognize when a risk may become an issue? Assigning risk owners to every identified risk. B. Assessing risk triggers with the team. C. Asking stakeholders to review the risk report and provide feedback. D. Reviewing the risk register daily. The provided image is an example of a stakeholder register power and interest grid resource management plan. Requirements traceability matrix. The head of your organization has announced that, moving forward, the organization will transition to a 4-day work week instead of the traditional 5-day work week. As a project manager, what is the next step you should take? A. Determine the impact on your project schedule. B. Note this in your project's assumptions log. C. Note this in your project's issues log. D. Determine the impact on your project's scope. Courtney has just joined your consulting firm and is seeking your mentorship as a project manager. She asks about your responsibilities concerning project artifacts. What will you tell her? The project manager is responsible for sending updated project artifacts to all stakeholders. The project manager is responsible for updating all project artifacts. C. The project manager is responsible for ensuring that project artifacts are accessible to all parties who may need them. D. The project manager is responsible for creating all project artifacts. Dom, your supervisor, has asked you to send him a document that includes the scope management plan and cost management plan, and serves as a guide for how your project will be managed. What document will you send him? A work breakdown structure. B. Project management plan. C. Feasibility study. D. Project charter. Your supervisor has asked you to help train a new project manager, Joyce. As part of her onboarding, you are reviewing several lessons learned documents to help familiarize her with how your organization manages projects. Which of the following lessons learned represents tacit knowledge? A. Jonathan, a senior project manager, often has a difficult time eliciting stakeholder feedback from the marketing department at your company. B. Going forward, company policy states that projects over $5 will require signature authority from the CEO. C. The technical codebase will be outdated by 2027 and will need to be refactored by then to adhere to new database policies. D. A key supplier, T9 Woodworking, has upped its pricing by 15% for future projects. Lindsay, a new project manager, is tasked with creating a lessons learned document and asks what to include. Which element is least likely to be included? A. Overview of the situation. B. Names of individuals at fault and their reprimands. C. Updates to project documents. D. Impact of corrective actions.